Yeah, absolutely, man. Appreciate you being on the panel.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I just found you on my YouTube recommended. I've been trying to reach out and do more things like this.
Nice. Yeah, heck yeah. I'm glad to have you for sure. Like I said on in the stream, I'm all about all different views. So if you have anybody that you know they like to speak their points and things like that, bring them on over. But anyway, you can go ahead and go back to real quick. Sorry, Beatrix. If you're still watching, you have a good night. Thank you very much for the engagement, and we can go back to the conversation at hand now.
Yeah, so I think Shank brings up an interesting kind of thing of like, would you want respect from people who have, I guess, say in your like in a subjective view, like, wait, you guys screwed this whole thing up. Why would I want your admiration? Why would I want that from you? Like,
It's the
say an outside group that you absolutely dispose of, or maybe not dispose of, but disregard in their teachings or their information. Well, I don't want your respect.
yeah,
This
it's
is the
the Rick and
last
Morty
thing I
meme.
want.
It's literally the Rick and Morty meme. Your boos mean nothing. I've seen what makes you cheer.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
exactly.
also you get respect when you give respect. So
No, you get respect when you do something worth respecting, and then you also demand the respect that you deserve. If you ask for too much respect, more than you deserve, you're not going to get any. And if you don't do anything worth respecting, you're not going to get any. And if you don't demand the respect you deserve, you won't get any. That's another problem a lot of
it,
parents have, especially, is they'll let their kids do anything. They deserve respect. They're the parents, but they'll just let them get away with anything. And that's actually on the
well,
parents of Gen Z because they never
that
made their kids respect them.
that's fair.
That's fair.
That's
I
fair.
think
Thanks,
from
Dr.
Uh,
Spock.
that's prison. That's prison rules right there.
What is this world
If
if
you
not a
don't give,
giant prison?
you know what? I'm finding that out. So you're right.
Well,
Fair.
I think it's one thing to disrespect or, not care about the respect of boomers from a Gen Z, but to disrespect your community at large, to disrespect the public is another. So,
What do you
yeah,
mean by that?
the boomer. Well, we were discussing earlier about how Gen Z gets to doing these like what do they call them? These intersection takeovers where they'll just do donuts and stuff in the middle of an intersection in the city. And I mean, that's completely disrespecting your community, completely disrespecting everyone traveling on the roads, even if it is in the middle of the night. Like that's not being respectful of society. It's like, yeah, you might have some disdain for a particular part of that society, but to have such disrespect to do something like that to your entire community is too far. It's ridiculous.
I see what you
Yeah.
mean there. Yeah, I would like to ask for some more perspective on that because we're obviously I like teen takeovers are stupid. The whole street thing, it's just suicide or suicidal, whatever it's called, terms that are TOS friendly. Um, but then you go back. Let's again go back to Boomers, Gen X, all the other previous generations, egging houses, TPing houses, cherry bombs in toilets. Are we the only one? Or is Gen Z the only ones to be disrespectful? I don't know if I count as Gen Z or millennial.
Fair. What?
I mean,
well, that wasn't the
that is a good
prompt.
point.
That wasn't exactly the prompt though. The prompt was, are they the most, not like only.
Yeah, but then that would it
You know what I
still
mean?
harkens back to it. I can reword it, I guess, better to fit with the prompt, but like I would say a cherry bomb is very disrespectful. So that would be competition against is Gen Z the most disrespectful because there's so many that are also disrespectful. There's so many instances cross generationally.
Well, I think it goes back to the target of the disrespect in the instance of like egging somebody's house or TPing somebody's house or cherry bombing somebody's toilet.
Lighting poop
There
on
was a
fire
specific
in
target
a
in
baggie.
mind. L- Uh, uh, that's a good one that I'm not sure how targeted the paper bag of dog poop caught on fire on somebody's front porch is, but the others, you usually did that to somebody when they'd done something to deserve it. Like that was a consequence of bad behavior or disrespect in the first place.
That's a good point.
It wasn't necessarily, yeah, it wasn't this, outwardly thrashing around at everything around you.
Yeah. I can't think off the top of my head of something that would be directly like that from the older generations, but I also don't pay attention much to the older generations.
Well, they were
Women
busy,
wearing,
right? A lot of them were working from like
yeah.
10, so
Mhm.
they didn't have a whole lot of time to, mess about.
How about boomers wearing bikinis instead of modest clothing? T-shirts instead of button-ups. How's that for disrespecting your community?
Oh
That's
well.
I mean,
actually very true.
yeah,
That's right.
I kind of am with you on that. As someone who wears t-shirts all the time,
Yeah,
yeah,
see?
no, we should all be dressing up better.
So
Yep.
that's kind of the big thing. That's where I take issue with the whole prompt is like if you look at the more you go back, it's like the Gen Z is not the one that started this at the very least. They're the end point of a long line of social degeneration, and so it's like what's worse? Teen takeovers
So if
or the one that started the uh what's the avalanche?
right, so if they're the peak, if they're the crescendo, does that mean that they are indeed the worst?
Yes, but are they the crescendo or is the next generation already worse? Or are they
Oh,
I don't know,
I
I guess
really hope not.
For
Well,
real
it
though.
can
do
always
you
get
guys
That's what
remember
my
worse.
this?
kids are
Do you
talking
guys?
about.
Well, do you guys remember the stories? I wasn't around for it. I was but a twinkle in the old man's eye.
Right.
Like where you couldn't show Elvis below his hips because it was so sexy and provocative that the whole society would rip apart watching Elvis dance. Like,
Yeah.
is it? I guess what's the severity? Like, was it seeing Elvis? Like, was that more of a social, like, you know, cultural head snap, like your head being snapped back, or is it all just kind of within its own perspective? Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
To a point, I think it's within its own perspective, but I think Elvis is probably like close to the beginning of the degeneration. Like, yeah, as soon as we started sexualizing everything,
Right.
then people started getting more lax. As soon as one thing becomes acceptable, then it's just, oh, well, if this is acceptable, then this is acceptable. And it just keeps piling itself on. And
Yeah.
so now we've gone to Elvis gyrating his hips to teen takeovers.
Yeah.
Right.
And you have to remember, like, the boomers were the one, like, the rebellious teenage phase started with the boomers. That's their cultural addition to society.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
maybe it is like Gen Z isn't the worst. Like it was actually the boomers because it like they flicked the first domino. They bucked the
Well,
trend of a tradition that went on for a millennia.
yeah, they definitely kicked off the first domino, but I think I think it's something that builds upon itself. So yeah, they may have started it, but it started small. And now that it's started small, we're getting big until it's going to explode.
No,
Probably
I
eventually.
think I'm still gonna argue that boomers were the most disrespectful generation. Gen Z is not respectful by any means, but the worst, definitely boomers. Always blame the boomers.
Wait,
When in
Elvis
doubt, blame boomers.
gyrated?
The boomers
No, he
invented
wasn't allowed to. Yeah,
gyration.
he wasn't allowed to.
The boomers invented gyration.
Remember, they
Well, every time you see someone twerking in a parking lot or in a mall, that's the boomers. They invented that.
that's Elvis's fault.
Yeah. Interracial
I can't
marriage,
wait to tell my
the end of
grandmother that everything is
redlining.
Elvis's fault.
Yeah, no ass.
Johnny Cash.
Great movie.
Atheism really kicked off with the boomers too. So, if you really want like what's disrespectful, not going to church anymore, you can't blame Gen Z for not going to church. And they're actually going to church more than previous generations. The first time this is turned around in history since being recorded. So really, if you want disrespectful, that's disrespectful to God.
I don't know if we want to get into a theological discussion right
Yeah,
now.
that's super deep.
Yeah, we won't necessarily get into theology right now.
All right, I can see that. Yeah,
It's
that,
But
was-
I
that was a
think it
bit
is
of a
an
bite.
point,
interesting-
though.
It is a
Sorry,
I
good
think
point.
it's a
It
good
is
point because maybe what we're seeing then is Gen Z is just the most extreme in whatever it is that they choose to do. So the ones that are choosing to be disrespectful are being disrespectful in the most extreme ways, and the ones that are choosing tradition are choosing it in a very extreme way.
Fair.
that also goes to before them. Go big or go home.
Mm-hmm. What was the
Classic.
other half of the pop? Most
Hey,
disrespectful,
that's my
or
motto.
Or standing up for themselves against disrespect.
which would be that? If they do everything really hard, that would be something else that they would do pretty good.
Yeah.
Craig, are you a millennial? He's definitely a millennial.
Speaking of millennials, where's ODJ?
I know, right? That's what I was just thinking.
Or
He would be a
Gen
good
Z,
one.
that's what I mean.
He's
We
probably
ran him off.
right. He's probably at work. Good
Yeah.
kid. Doing right by everybody and got a job, not just a little deadbeat. So I'm proud of that kid.
Okay.
All right. Anything else on that topic? We've been on it for a little bit. We can move on to something else.
Yeah, I think a dead horse is a dead horse.
Yeah, right.
You can bring a dead horse to
Apprentice
water,
did
but you
put
can't
it in
make
the
him drink.
chat, and I'll point that out. He retracted it. I'm not sure why, but after I highlighted it, so it's on air anyway. But we can fight about who's worse, but there's only one who was good, so we're just arguing levels of depravity at this point in time, right?
Damn. Okay, apprentice. You should
Shots
have been
fired!
part of
Shots
this.
fired!
Should have been part of this, apprentice.
Anyway. Okay, so let's see. What else do we have? Does anybody need to take off before we move on? Giving the floor for anybody. Okay. Let's see. What other things do we have? So we talked about the second and the third one. So now we have 1 or 4. Does anybody have any suggestions or recommendations or? No.
You're the
Okay.
host.
There's
So
all that stuff in
you-
Spain.
what's that? Sorry.
There's everything going on in Spain right now. You see the X clips, like something like 50,000 Moroccans invaded the southern tip of Spain.
Oh yeah, so somebody sent me a video of that. I haven't heard anything about it, so I'm gonna do a little bit of research on it, and then we'll probably talk about that next Thursday, and I might cover it on my Sunday stream too. But the 2 prompts that we have for tonight are either: is it worth having debates or conversations with bad faith actors? The people on their side are going to likely say they won, and in turn get deeper entrenched. You may convert some fence sitters, but is it worth possibly turning up the heat between the left and the right at this point? And the last one is: should adolescents/teenagers be encouraged to carry a knife on them at all times, including to school? Why or why not? And are they carrying it for protection or preparedness? And does that even matter? Do cases like Carmelo Anthony support this or directly oppose this? So we can start with 1 or 4. Does anybody have any?
I like the
I say
first
we
one
go
more.
1.
1
Yeah, 1 is
less hostile? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, in that case, I want 4.
Let's go with
yeah, right.
4.
That's funny.
Now
It
let's do
looks like
one. That
Oh.
Apprentice
sounds
is
good.
headed to bed. Good to have you, Apprentice. I know that you were not feeling good, so the
Yay.
fact that you were here is a great extent of you. So thank you very much for being here. And the mods, as always, appreciate what you guys do. Please take care of yourself tonight. And as always, appreciate you. All right, so
Good night, everyone.
both of these prompts are too large for YouTube. Yeah, this might get a little spicy. We'll start
it's
with
gonna get
number
spicy.
1. Well, yeah, we want to be not too spicy. I don't want to get shadow banned if I haven't been already, and I definitely want to get monetized if possible. And
Well, you
speaking of
popped up
which,
on my
please share
feed.
the stream. If you know of anybody that wants to see a potato make fun of himself all the time, bring him in. So, is it worth to debate bad faith actors? What do we think?
Yes.
May
Well,
I?
can I get a clarification real quick?
No.
Is debating from a devil's advocate stance considered bad faith?
No,
No.
All right, then
I typically
don't have
debate
much
in
to
like
say here.
internal critique. So, like that's normally my position is internal critique debate.
Yeah, imagine like anything
Yeah,
Hassan
no,
Piker or
that-
Destiny would say. That would be bad faith.
yeah, there you go.
Just
Yeah.
imagine a leftist, any
Obfuscation.
leftist, pick one.
Yeah, obfuscation, straw manning, refusing to answer questions, et cetera, et cetera. Those
Yeah,
types.
if you
If-
are playing the jester's advocate and you're giving it your all and you're doing everything that you can to be good faith in that position, no, I don't see that being bad faith, because just like shout out to Speakeasy and Verbal Combat on Friday nights, a lot of people have to play the devil's advocate because Speakeasy is paid to put you into a one-on-one with somebody else. In order for that one-on-one to take place, you either need to take one side or the other, or else they just continuously try to read off prompts. So there are some times that the jester's advocate position is going to have to be taken by somebody that wouldn't necessarily take that, and
A
that
third
shouldn't
party,
be
if you will.
considered bad faith. What was that, Ice?
A third party, if you will.
Fair.
Honestly,
Fair.
I think Jester's Advocate's probably the most good faith thing you can do. Like you're, for the sake of the debate, taking a position you would not
Right.
normally take.
Right, which at
so
that
people
point in
can
time you
practice
would
their
be
rhetoric.
essentially steel manning the other side's position. So in a debate, if you can successfully steel man your opponent's position, that is, as far as I'm concerned, the definition of good faith. Because you know your opponent's position, you're willing to accept and understand, not maybe accept, sorry, that was a bad choice of words, but you're able to understand, you're willing to understand it and break it down. Because again, if you can understand something, you're going to be able to break it down a lot easier.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And
I can't agree more.
Sorry.
If Rick, you're okay. If I could just real quick, I want to answer yes to this question, but perhaps not for the most obvious reason. I feel like built into the question, like saying you might be able to convert a few fence sitters, may not be generous enough to good debaters. Like you're having a good faith debate with someone and say you're on the quote unquote right side, not as in left and right, as in correct,
Right.
according to Christians, whatever. And there are people in the audience that you can cause a little bit of cognitive dissonance in. Even if you don't immediately convert them to your way of thinking, you might plant that seed, which is what a lot of us talk about doing. Even if you can just start to plant a seed of doubt in their mind of their original stance, eventually it can become something. And I feel like if you're even halfway decent at debating, you likely do that, somewhat often at least. And I think also if you're decent at using logic and reason and still manning the other side's position and being charitable and, not completely being nice enough to not make them shut down completely. I'm not saying you have to be nice. I'm saying you attract more bees with honey than vinegar, right? And if you can make your premise or your point attractive enough to make them consider they themselves may even have a change of heart, whether it's to the issue or to have their mind open to hearing new ideas as well. So, yes.
Yeah, I think that there should be a distinction between, say, like public or private. So, like in like a private discussion, okay, if someone's just like completely, innocuous, I don't know. I could, I'm sure we've all had conversations where it's like, this was kind of like a benign topic that we were talking about, but like you actually blew it so bad out of proportion and then accused me that I'm X, Y, and Z to the point that I don't even know if I want to be friends with you anymore. Like that is, I would say that would be different to say than in like more public, formal kind of setting where you're presenting a worldview and then the other side is presenting theirs. I think that's different than say someone that's I'm just here for the clicks. I'm actually not here to engage in the topic or argue a worldview or a position. I'm just here for the clicks. I think it is still worth engaging in because as Leia said, I think if you could pull some of those people say off that kind of middle ground, or even as the prompt was saying, like that kind of middle ground, people undecided, and then they can work more into actually, well, what else is this? Even though this person is operating in bad faith, perfect example. Rachel Wilson debating Brian Shapiro. You saw just how bad faith that anything that comes out of Brian Shapiro's mouth after that exchange, as bad faith as he was, it destroyed his credibility to anyone, even say someone like me that isn't Christian by any stretch of the imagination. Where I go, yeah, that dude's just a piece of garbage. He's just trash.
You can say that again.
Yeah, it reminds me of an old saying, sunlight is the best disinfectant, which, is true. Uh, but yeah, it not only does it engaging in those debates expose those people for who and what they are, but it also exposes the audience that clings to them. So you know now not to associate on any serious level, not only with the person that's debating in bad faith, but the people who take them seriously even afterward.
Yeah. Yep, exactly.
I think turning up the temp
And then
between
go
oh,
ahead,
sorry.
sorry. You're good. No, you're good.
Turning
Go
up the
ahead.
temp between the left and the right, just to riff off of what Chaos put into chat there, is probably one of the best things that you could do for it, because one of the biggest breakdowns currently in America is that the left and the right aren't talking, and they're not even arguing with each other. They're in these isolated rooms arguing with themselves about the other person. The way I like to put it every time I talk to someone that does this is, you're not arguing with me, you're arguing with the delusional fantasy that you wish I was. And it's like, if eventually if you piss someone off enough, they will start yelling at you, and once they're actually yelling at you, they're actually talking to you, and then you can actually start to get somewhere. But until you actually break through this 30 different walls and barriers people have mentally to having their worldview challenged, you're not going to make any progress. So it's either
Right.
going to blow up by talking, or it's going to blow up some other way.
Yeah, and fire is a form of purification. Like that's how you get pure metals, is by turning up the temperature. And right now we're a lot of disparate different ideas and people, and if we need to be in this melting pot together, maybe we do need to turn up the temperature.
Well, and I think it's also a little bit um, generous, shall we say, to claim that any one person alone. And I made this argument back when everybody was like, "Oh, Trump needs to turn down the temperature." To say that any one person alone can completely affect the political temperature in our sphere is just a little bit wild to me. They could definitely contribute, and some contribute more than others. Most definitely, Trump being a great example. But I feel like uh, if there's not a meeting of the minds or um, a meeting of disagreement, if you will, like if there's nobody there to counter and meet hostility with hostility, if that's the case, or meet open mindedness with open mindedness, then the temperature is going to stay the same no matter what that person puts out, right? It's got to be a collective. I don't I don't think just one person can really move the needle that much without help, basically.
Yeah, that's fair. But it's one person on top of another person on top of another person, and if everybody's turning up the temperature, then
Right.
eventually it's going to get hot enough
For
to
sure.
melt.
For sure. And I don't disagree. I just personally would not think to myself, like before a conversation or debate with someone, like, should I not debate this topic because I am going to turn up the political temperature? Like, that wouldn't be a thought that I have about myself or
Now,
most other people. You know, I
it
get collective.
eventually somebody's going to be the last one to turn up the temperature before things do melt down.
I hope it's me.
But so
Can you
it's
imagine the
like Craig
headlines?
in the chat. It's like Craig in the chat says sometimes people start talking when they start yelling, but sometimes that's when people stop talking. Right? Charlie Kirk, who's a good example of how we can get back to talking to one another again. We need to start to understand where the other person is coming from again. What hurt in their background has caused them to think that way? And I'm not talking about who hurt you, bro. I'm talking about true, honest to God hurt in people's background. We need to start reaching some unification again.
I think that's too charitable.
I
Not
think
everyone's gotten
the
hurt. We have a plague of mediocre lives upon us, and people weren't hurt. They're just, like, pathetic, honestly.
Can you guarantee that?
I won't guarantee it, but I will say the vast majority of
Then-
Americans
then
haven't had
that's
some
all-
horror
then-
bestowed upon them.
Then conversation done. Give respect, and you earn respect.
You
We
have to
need
do
to start
something.
giving respect again. I understand we have to be the one to reach out our hand, and that's going to suck. It's going to fucking suck. I get it. I do. But if we can't guarantee that they have not had a hard life, we have to accept when they say that they have and then learn about them. And if they haven't had a hard life, then you put them in their place.
I completely disagree. I think these people have made their bed. They're grown adults. Like, it's one thing if it's like a 14-year-old or a 16-year-old. I'll even give you like a 20-year-old still doesn't really know anything in 2026. But these are grown adults we're dealing with. I say they made their bed. They can lie in it. And, if I'm reaching out a hand and I think they deserve it, that hand's going to be closed with a couple knuckles attached. I do not care.
So how are we ever supposed to turn this temperature down if everybody were to feel that way though?
I never said I wanted to turn the temperature down. I was firmly on the I want to be the one that blows it up side of it.
Okay. So you're like an accelerationist.
Yeah. I have a 4-year-old. He's going to be draftable in 13 years. I need this solved by then, and I don't see a way of solving that without some type of gasoline.
Well,
Yeah,
I will
I
have
definitely
to
don't. Yeah, I'm not an accelerationist on this channel. You're okay in your position. I'm not definitely saying don't leave or anything. I'm just definitely don't want to turn any more heat up than we absolutely have to, because there is going to be a line that we got to be careful of.
No, I completely get that. I
Right.
understand where you're coming from in that regards.
Fair.
It's just I did the math a couple of years ago when my son was born. I was like, we have to fix so many things in so little of a time. It's going to take some serious measures, and I've seen the way people have been debating this for like the last 5-10 years now, and it's like this is not working. We have to do something else. But I get where you're coming from. It's certainly not a safe position to take.
Right. Well,
And I actually kind of had a similar experience. Like, I had my kids 3 years ago, and had a similar change of heart. Like, oh my goodness, this society that I've been living in and participating in is awful. However, I didn't take the mathematical equation to that direction. It was more, if I'm going to live in a better society for my children to grow up in a better society, I have to be part of a better society, so I myself have to do better.
Yeah, but you
I
can't.
do agree that some extreme things need to be done. Absolutely agree with you there, but not to the point where I would say an acceleration to destruction
Well, it's not.
is the goal.
I guess I should specify it's not necessarily an acceleration to destruction. It's this lukewarm Republican right wing take that everyone's been trying to do. I don't think that's working. We need something different. And I think a more conservative position that we did in the past, where we used extreme shaming tactics, where we ostracized people, where we like really made people ashamed to be something that we would consider bad and like really kicked them out, that would be accelerationism, and it would be quite radical compared to what we're doing today, but that would go a long ways. And you
Okay,
already see that happening where
now
we
you're
shame a lot more people
now
than
you're
we
speaking
did
my
10 years
language.
ago.
Right.
See,
And
I think the right is
yeah,
too
I-
weak and ineffective to actually do anything.
yeah,
Honestly, I think conservatives are a bunch of cowards. They will not wield the sword. They won't actually use power. So they're always playing second fiddle. The best example that I can't remember who brought it up, a friend of mine,
I think it was me last
but
week.
he had said it might have been, I don't know. But so if it was, I don't know. So here's the analogy. So of course, like I said, I'm talking more from like a Canadian kind of perspective. So in Canada, like everything's just like your default lib. Like that's just how Canada is. And with the liberal government and in our parliament, prefer your guys' White House. The liberals will punch holes in the wall. They'll redecorate. They'll get the new furniture and everything else. And that's just how it is. But when the conservatives get in power, when they leave, they make sure that the chairs are tucked in, the papers are neatly stacked, that all the pens are in the pen holder and accounted for. So that's the view that I see is different. The liberals are willing to change and use that power and actually exert that power, while the right is always going, but what if my opponent gets back in charge and they could use those same powers against me? I don't hear that coming from the left at all. They're like, we need to go further. Look at what's happening in the United States. What are you hearing from like prominent Democrats? When we get back in, we need to pack the courts. We need to get rid of the filibuster. We need to fix gerrymandering. They're like, we're going gloves off. We're making sure that this power is being exercised, rather than the right that's going, maybe we shouldn't. That's the difference I see.
Yeah, that was literally our conversation. I think it was like 2 weeks ago.
Was it?
The same analogy,
Well,
yep.
good point. It was good enough that it stuck in my head. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's another thing to bring up that's important is the left is completely fine with accelerating. They're fine with raising the temperature. They're fine with imprisoning J6ers for years without trial for someone that showed up 2 hours after the entire riot just because they showed up and took some photos. They opened the doors for him and then they threw him in jail for 20 years, or tried to at least. They went after Trump. They went after Trump's lawyers, unheard of. They went after Trump without convicting him of an underlying crime. Like, they are perfectly willing to set aside everything to win at all costs. And so really your options are, you either have to fight them the same way, get on their level, and force them to concede or come back to the table somehow, because this lukewarm, I have to be respectful, I have to be the moral person, I have to be the better man, I can't actually do anything. I call them republic cucks, really, is what they are. They refuse to get out of their chair and do anything. It's not working. This has been the slow decline of the last 60 years.
Like I remember
Yeah,
a quote from Vosh where he's like, for those that don't know, he's a quite the vocal socialist, if he hasn't gone full blown communist as of yet. But he says that I'm here to win for socialism. I'm not here to lose. So I will lie, I will cheat, I will do whatever it takes in order for socialism to win. That's what the right is contending with. That idea. The ends justify the means. I know this is kind of off topic of like the debate, good faith, bad faith debate.
Well, I think that actually brings you right back into the topic because it's clear that one political party refuses to operate in good faith. I guess I can't make a generality out of that, but there's a clear bias on that. Which side will and which side won't. And so your only option is to either engage someone that's being bad faith or to not engage them at all.
Yeah, and there's one thing I've noticed with even not necessarily within like political spheres, but even in like public discourse, the right is always willing to engage with the left. The left doesn't engage with the right. So if we look at it this way, the left is the one that's always pushing the progress. They're whatever that progress is. Okay, it could be nebulous, nothing. They're always pushing towards something. The right is always responding to that. They are never giving a refutation or an alternative vision. They're just saying, we don't like this. Why has Andrew Wilson become so effective? Why did he suddenly blow up out of nowhere, so to speak? Because he actually showed a alternative. Now, I disagree with his alternative, but he's not saying, look at what the left is doing. He's one of the very few that is saying, I have a vision, rather than look at what stupid vision the left has without giving an alternative. And so in that aspect, he's actually been very effective in giving that, engaging with that bad faith, in showing that. So I think it is still good to engage with bad faith people.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
Did anyone say that they shouldn't? I think we all agreed that we should.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we all agree. Is there anybody that disagrees with that? That we shouldn't be engaging the opposite side? Okay.
Do we have a devil's advocate?
With that being said, I do probably need to wrap up. I have some things I need to get taken care of before I end my evening. But I will give you guys a chance to wrap anything up that you would like to wrap up before we give our shout outs and end the stream. Is there anybody that would want the floor for the topic at hand? Okay. With that being said, we'll go ahead and start wrapping up. So what I'll normally do is I have the upper right in my screen. So that would be political, and then Leah, and then Ice, and then we'll drop down to Vosh and Tyler in that order. Give out shout out for whatever you want to shout out, your channel, somebody that you like watching, that you'd like to give credit to, anything like that. You have the floor for a minute. Political.
Thank you for having me on. I just found you guys, so I know you're not Shadow Man yet because you just popped up on my For You feed. So that's
Fair.
something good to hear. Thank you for having me.
Thank
You can find me at Political Shankfest at YouTube and on X. Right now, I'm talking a lot on X about the Spain stuff because that's just going crazy. Europe is a disaster. And then
It is, yeah.
thanks for Tyler. He's always a great guy to talk to out there on We're Offended, You're Offended, and Speakeasy, The Crucible. I've just joined the debate sphere, so it's been really great watching all these channels and joining in where I can. If anyone's interested, I am doing a carbon fiber hood project on my car. I'm trying to make videos for it. I got a terabyte of footage I have to comb through. I swear it's going to be posted eventually.
Yeah.
I keep telling everyone that, but I got to stop
Fair.
hopping on debate
I know
channels so
the
I can
feeling.
actually edit the footage.
I know the feeling.
Yep.
Fair.
That's all.
Right
Thank
on.
you.
Yeah, hell yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming on, and you're always welcome back, man. And again, in the chat, go check him out after the stream. Give him some love, and we'll see what kind of network we can build. And again, you're always welcome back. You have yourself a God bless night, man.
Good argument points, political.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Thank you.
Good
I
conversation.
try and give my opinion as much as I can without stepping on too many toes. I'll talk forever if you let me.
Your opinion
Fair.
is always, should be always.
Yeah, thanks for the
welcome.
shout out, man. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Right.
My opinions are always correct,
Um,
is what you were trying to say.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
Opinions can always have a place for sure. All right. So, anybody else want to thank him or anything like that before I cut you off? All right, Leah, go ahead and shout your stuff out. Whatever you'd like to shout out.
Oh, I won't shout out too much. Whoever's in chat should probably know that I have a channel I'll eventually return to at some point to do content. Just make sure that you please are subscribed with a bell on for Tater and share them with a friend if you've enjoyed your time here. And if you're not already in the Discord, I highly suggest you join because it is, as Tater pointed out earlier, one of the most unique and special places on all of Discord. And you will find something and someone, if only one thing in one, that you will absolutely adore. So come join us.
Thank you very much
And
for
thank you.
that. Was there anything else?
No. Good night and God
Oh,
bless.
yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much. As always, you're welcome back. And for anybody that watches this later on, I know that the whole chat knows that she has her channel, but anybody that may want to check her out that have watched this, she does have her own channel, Leah Bobia, on YouTube. So, anything else before
Wait,
I
that was
move on?
Leah?
Yep,
Sneaky little
I
gobbler.
said
I didn't
hi.
even know.
I know, right?
Oh, I didn't
I
hear
know,
you.
right?
My apologies.
She's always
Yeah,
lurking.
Billy.
You offended Tyler.
That's funny.
Sorry,
Anyway,
Always
I feel like a
offended,
dick.
you know?
Just stonewalled you. Sorry. I'm sorry.
you're fine. All right, so we'll move on to Ice. Is there anything you'd like to shout out real quick?
I would like to shout out Potato Nation or Potato's Eye or whatever. Come fucking watch. It's great. It's a good fun. I am been watching a few YouTube channels. It's just my niche. I don't know if it's anybody else's niche. It's off road, but Matt's Off Road Recovery and Fab Rats on YouTube. They're great. I mean, they
Right on.
help people out, and it's fun to watch.
I
But
love those
mostly,
guys.
Potato's Eye.
Right on. Yeah, I've seen the off road or the recovery. That one's pretty good. Right on. I appreciate the shout outs. And as always, you're always welcome back. And you have yourself a God bless night, man.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And then Vosh, you go ahead to have the floor.
Just yeah, everybody like and subscribe, share the video, join the Discord. Most importantly, join the Discord. We all have a blast in there, and there's something for everybody, and we have great conversations, and a bunch of great people that actually care about each other, which is really nice.
Yeah.
So
Seems to be a rare thing these days. So I appreciate my Discord. I appreciate you shouting that out. Is there anything else you want to shout out?
I mean, if you want to see anything I'm doing, I'll probably be doing a live stream of The Secret Life of Plants here soon.
Fair.
That's a fun documentary about plants. Go figure.
Right on.
But yeah, so if anybody wants to check that out, I'm Voshmit everywhere.
Heck yeah. I appreciate the shout outs and being here. As always, you're always welcome back. And you have a God bless night, man.
Thank
And
you
that
too,
brings
Tim.
us to Tyler. We're offended. You have the floor, sir.
All right. Well, of course, thank you very much for allowing me up here to speak. And yeah, I guess I am the co-host with my wife. We run a show talking Canada, U.S. Politics, culture, and whatever else is going on in the world. Yeah, that's really it. Thank you again for having me, and I look forward to the next one. Oh, I guess I should say
Nice.
Saturday is our last episode before we go on hiatus for all August. So we'll be
Oh, fair.
updating a bunch of new stuff, and Original Vintage will be joining us before we disappear for some relaxation and but I won't keep that going. But thank you very much. Yeah, I subscribed, so
Heck
I'm
yeah.
looking forward to more interesting discussions. Thank you.
Heck yeah. I appreciate that. I appreciate the deep conversations that we've had tonight, guys. Was there anybody else that wanted to sec on the panel before I drop? Because I'm not going to lurk. Okay.
Thank you again,
But
Tater, for having such an
absolutely.
amazing space. And
No,
God bless.
seriously though. I appreciate everybody that jumps on my panels, everybody that's in the chat. You guys are the one that makes the nation, right? I have the vision, and I will continue on with my crusade, if you will. But you guys are the ones who make it possible. So thank you again for being here. Thank you again, all of you in the chat. And it looks like Unapologetic Preacher just hit. Thank you very much for the engagement, Unapologetic Preacher. He does have his own channel, Reverend Russ. Definitely check that out as well. So yeah, seriously, guys, thank you very much for being here. Ice, you're unmuted. Did you want to say anything before I drop?
No, just thank you. You made this all possible. So yes, I appreciate the thanks, but if it wasn't for you, this wouldn't happen.
Fair. And I appreciate that a great deal. I just try to stay humble for sure. But you guys are welcome to stay in the channel. You can also drop down for the newbies. You won't be able to drop down to any other than the vetting room. But if you'd like to drop into the vetting room, other people might join you and visit with you if you'd like. Otherwise, I'm going to drop out, and you guys have yourself a wonderful evening.
Night,
good night,
Tater
Jason.
Nation.
I'm getting me some tater tots now.
See, Ice Pick. The best form of potato.
Amen.
Thank you, everybody. An apologetic preacher dropping in to the show. The Tater some love. God bless, brother. God bless you too, man. Seriously, guys, I appreciate everybody so much. This was a good panel. We had a couple of new subscribers. Thank you for all of you that subscribed. Seriously, I love you guys. With that being said, please take care of yourselves out there. Inside of the United States, always remember those Second Amendment rights within the United States. Your response time will always be faster than that of the police getting to your home. For those outside of the United States, please take care of yourselves the best way that you know how. And as always, take care of yourselves, your neighbors. Watch out for each other. You don't know what each other are going through. Try to be kind, right? Where we talked about having some leeway for some people, not everybody though, right? I don't want it to ever come across that I'm just going to start using kid gloves for everybody. But we have to understand where some people are coming from. But anyway, I'll get out of your hair, and hopefully I'll be streaming on Sunday, and we'll see how that goes. If not, I do have videos coming up Tuesday through Thursday. Please go watch those, share those out. Let's see if we can get some traction. And again, thank you. God, Christ is God, the King of Kings, and always will be. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you were here with me, and I cannot tell you how much I appreciate that. And for now, the potato signing off. Getting out of your hair and being a boomer while he does it, right?
Raise the sails, beat the drums. Raise the sails, beat the drum. Build these towers with our backs bent low. Watch the kingdoms rise while our wages froze. Gold in the skyline, rust in our homes. They feast in the palace while we break our bones. They don't see faces, they just count names. Columns on a ledger in a numbers game. Different flags, different faiths, different shades of skin. Still we're all disposable when profit steps in. No crown can stop the tide. No wall can chain the sea. The waves remember every lie and every broken dream. Hey, pull the rope, let the thunder roll. Raise your voice till it shakes their throne. We are the storm they ignore too long. Now the whole damn ocean sings our song. Hey, beat the drum, let the anchors break. Every soul that they left away. No more fear, no more bowing down. When the tide comes in, we'll drown the crowd. Private jets over neighborhoods starving. Boardroom smiles while the factories harden. Sell another promise, package another lie. Tell us to be grateful while the future dies. They divide us left and right, black and white, keep us looking sideways, never up to fight. Neighbors become enemies, the masters just grin. Every war below keeps the palace in. You can own the gold, you can own the land, but you'll never own the spirit of the damned. When enough hearts beat as one, no empire stands forever. Hey, pull the rope, let the thunder roar. We're the ones they can't ignore. Every voice like a crashing wave, born unbroken, never made a slave. Hey, raise the mask, let the heavens know. Truth's a fire they can't control. No matter the color, the creed, the name, the powerful play the same old game. So stand together, shoulder to shoulder, storm after storm, growing bolder. The sea keeps rising, the tide won't wait. History belongs to the ones who won't break.
Alright, that outro is just taking kind of forever. I was hoping it'd wrap up eventually. This is my first live stream that I think I'm actually going to keep where I streamed it and did not screw up the live stream. So hopefully that works. Please go over to A Potato Eyes channel. Give him a like and a follow. I got the video that I was, the live stream that I was on posted in the chat here if anyone eventually sees this. Hey everyone, have a good night. I do promise the videos on the car hood are coming